Welcome back to day one of the QPL Stage 1 Finals. I'm your host, DJ Wheat, joined now by Flea and Lethal returning to the desk. We just got off of Kilson versus Dewey. Kilson advancing on to the round of 16. We'll see him fighting yet again coming up. But first, we're going to be moving on to DaHanG and nosfa. I want to check out the brackets, though, and for a couple reasons. I want us to not only see the results and what is to come, but also I just want to make it clear to those that are watching, a little bit of confusion in the chat, like, wait, why was this game 2 maps, and why was this game? As you can see, all of the Challenger matches were best of 5 because those were single elimination. Winners move on in the bracket, losers, unfortunately, out of the competition. But everything else from this point is double elimination. So it will be best of 3. If you lose, you go down to the losers bracket, you get a second life, and then later on day 3, that's when you'll see some of the best of 5s, and of course the finals is a best of 7. So consider we have one more challenger match that will come up a little bit later. That's Civ versus Zanaku. That will also be a best of 5, but pretty much everything else aside from that map is going to be a best of 3 here on out until we get closer to the finals. With that being said, DaHanG versus nosfa. Flea, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this matchup?
This is an exciting one, because these two players actually have kind of a bit of a history going on if you look at their previous performances. Earlier in this stage, nosfa almost managed to beat DaHanG. Was one of the closest games we've seen all stage. He ended up losing 2-1, but before that, in the Stage 4 finals of Season 1, or the Quake World Championships, nosfa had a beautiful run through the lower brackets, made it until the very final matchup before qualifying for Finals Day, and then he lost to DaHanG 2-0. So twice now has nosfa been beaten by DaHanG when he was on the cusp of greatness, and I think that he's going to want to change the record this time around.
Yeah, and let's take a look at his record here for the 13 weeks in Stage 1. And Lethal, maybe you can comment here a little bit. We got to see nosfa several times throughout the competition in both featured matches and regular matches, but, you know, what do you think?
Yeah, it's normally one-sided. Either he destroys or gets destroyed. It's been one or the other. It's quite rare you get those close series. But like Flea said, you know, look at that. One of the first matches was against DaHanG. He lost 2-1. I think the series was very close in terms of map score. The only one map which was very one-sided was when I think DaHanG literally destroyed nosfa on Vale, but Vale isn't around anymore. It hasn't been around for a while, so at least that's one map pick he doesn't really need to worry about. And it's always been 2-1. It's always been very, very close, but you've got to remember, nosfa, it just came from that match against Avik earlier on. He's going to be on an adrenaline rush right now. He's going to probably feel like he can really do this and actually get something going here.
I completely agree. That was a great way to start your bracket run, undoubtedly. And, you know, his opponent, DaHanG, you know, typically you'd expect to see sort of the 1-2, the Team Liquid boys with that first and second spot. However, Chain really shook things up throughout the entire Americas. But DaHanG, you know, and we'll take a look at his results here in just a moment, but he remained fairly consistent through the, you know, through the entire 13 weeks. We know what kind of player he is in terms of sort of very calculated, doesn't take a whole lot of risks. He plays to his own strengths and weaknesses. But, you know, Flea, comment here. It was a very good record here. We see DaHanG only dropping to Chain in his 7th matchup, and then to Rafa in the last matchup.
Yeah, DaHanG, he is one of the most consistent players in the entire league. The man calculates every move extremely carefully, and it stands to reason that he would only lose to 1 or 2 players during that entirety of the stage. And as you mentioned yourself, that was against his teammate Liquid Rafa, and then also versus Chain, who has been making some big waves and is, in the eyes of many at least, top 2 NA by now since he beat DaHanG both of the last times they went up against each other. But still, DaHanG clearly a force to be reckoned with. He's a staple of the top 6, not just NA, but worldwide. So I do think we can expect some great things of him still.
Yeah. And I still have to agree. The nosfa versus Avik matchup, right? You beat a player like Avik and you that you feel invincible. You've got a lot of confidence going into the next matchup. I mean, versus a player like DaHanG, I do expect some fireworks here. But let's hold off on any sort of predictions until we take a look at the picks and bans. And Lethal, as they come up on the screen, want to get your thoughts on this best of 3.
Well, looking at it straight away, I see Deep Embrace and Blood Covenant, which is actually 2 of DaHanG's best maps. So when he saw that first pick, he's probably thinking, okay, I'm happy with that. He's just basically chosen his map for me. And then DaHanG's on, okay, I'll have Deep Embrace as well. So there is the possibility of a 2-0 series in favor of DaHanG. But Awoken, nosfa's very, very good on that map. So if anything does happen, like it actually ties up, I think DaHanG's going to be a little bit worried here going into the third and final map. We'll have to see. But I kind of feel like DaHanG needs to win this on the first 2 maps.
Interesting. Flea, what do you think?
Could very well be the case that third matchup. I mean, nosfa, he is widely considered to be one of the best scale better players in the game, so I am inclined to agree that if it goes to Awoken, that could very well be going his way. So DaHanG definitely wants to place his bets on those first 2 maps, and they are going to be interesting to say the least. Blood Covenant with a Slash versus a Nyx, that is going to be some high-octane, fast-paced action through and through.
Yeah, very excited for that one. And this is going to be the first time that we're going to see Deep Embrace here on stream as well. And yeah, I tend to agree with Lethal. I think that the first 2 maps kind of go in favor of DaHanG. But again, you know, nosfa is absolutely surprised us today. Excited to see what might be brought to the table. So let's talk a little bit about our predictions before we, you know, jump into this. Lethal, let me start with you.
I'm going to say 2-0, but it's going to be very, very close in favour of DaHanG. I kind of feel like nosfa's chosen Blood Covenant to start off with because of how well he did against AVEG. And after that, he's just made the assumption that, okay, I'm going to use the same champion, use the same map pick. I don't think he's trying to counter DaHanG in any way. He's trying to play the maps and the champions that he's comfortable with. He doesn't really care about in terms of like trying to counter pick or using any mind games or anything like that. He shows a great performance in the first game against AVEG, and I'm sure he's going to continue to do so with the adrenaline he's had from that match. So, but DaHanG just needs to be really careful. He should win his 2-0. If he doesn't, then I feel like nosfa could actually take the whole thing 2-1.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that this is going to go in DaHanG's favor, in part because that first pick, right? nosfa repeating what he did earlier, doing that against a player like DaHanG, I can guarantee you that DaHanG has been watching that previous matchup and has already thought about ways to counter exactly what nosfa pulled against AVEG. So he's got to be extremely careful not to fall into that familiar trap of repeating your playstyle against these top pros. So I am going to give the edge to DaHanG as well.
I'll just join and make it a hat trick. I feel like consistency, especially you look at DaHanG's performance throughout all 13 weeks of stage 1. And, you know, amazing performance by nosfa earlier on today. But looking at the consistency on paper over the course of 13 weeks, I kind of feel like that definitely nudges in DaHanG's favor. So we'll have to see. And, of course, if you're in chat on Twitch, the predictions will be coming up soon. I know a lot of people earning some points. I wish I could see who has been on top with their predictions so far today. But thank you for throwing those out there. And Lethal, we're going to say goodbye, but just momentarily, we're going to bring you back. We're going to hear your thoughts after this match is over. Flea, it's just you and me for this one as we enter into another round of 24. Our next matchup is going to be edging into the round of 16. And I'm telling you what, as we see this bracket start to fill out, it is very, very exciting to see some of the matchups that we've got coming up.
Oh, absolutely. And just a quick shout out for all the people in chat. The B stream, twitch.tv/Quake2, has just gone live, where we will be seeing some other games. I think the first one that's about to be shown is Maxter versus Sparty, and it will indeed be casted by Jackie and ZSX over at twitch.tv/Quake2. So you've got double the Quake action for the price of nothing at all. What a deal, Wheat.
Yes. They're playing Q2DM1 over there, too, the Edge. No, just that's not happening. Don't. But we'll give you the results of those matchups, or if we happen to get it beforehand. But double the Quake action here for the next few rounds, as there's 15 matches played here on day 1 for the QPL Stage 1 Finals. And then tomorrow, we have just got non-stop games for you. And then, of course, the third and final day, Sunday. That's the final days. $100,000 on the line and a brand new belt. Who's going to have their name etched on there first? We're going to find out by the end of this weekend. It looks like we are in game and about to get started. And Flea, I'm going to let you take this one away. It's DaHanG versus nosfa.
Playing on the M6 Blood Covenant, we're kicking things off on DaHanG's point of view. The American nosfa, incredibly aggressive from the get-go, rushing in with the rockets, knowing very well that DaHanG didn't have any close quarter weapons available to defend himself. Luckily for DaHanG, though, he gets away, picks up Mega, and nosfa ends up going for the heavy, also ending up putting a very significant delay between the items, 10 seconds, Wheat.
Yeah, this should be pretty interesting. They both have rails. Okay, DaHanG just got his, but we're going to see DaHanG try to put on some pressure, and here comes that high octane action that you were talking about earlier. Ghostwalk does come out, and it's not going to matter as you see nosfa skate around his opponent, but a perfectly placed rail coming out there by DaHanG to give him the first frag. You know, you mentioned that we were going to have some high octane play, and we just saw it right there. But things did start off, I would say, calculated, right? And I think both DaHanG and nosfa looking to open up in that way. But now that the barrier has been broken and the first frag is on the field, I have a feeling we're going to have high energy from this point out.
nosfa just made a big mistake in that first engagement. He assumed that DaHanG, after taking the initial damage, would not just stick around on the bridge.
Yeah.
So he positioned himself there, expecting DaHanG to either drop down or maybe jump over to railgun, so he wanted to be able to punish that. But then all of a sudden DaHanG just reappears next to him and gets a beautiful frag, as he does again right now, extending his lead 2-0. And he's got a good rotation on the items as well. Mega first, 10 seconds later, the heavy. This should be no problem for the American representing Team Liquid right now.
Yeah, looking very strong. Heavy's about to spawn. Picked up, and plenty of time now for a possible capitalization of both of the major items. Bam coming out here outside of the exit of the teleporter from DaHanG. And the moment that he stops and looks away, that's when nosfa runs on through. A ton of damage done, as well as a rail from the top level, forcing DaHanG out of there. He is going to be able to retreat back to heavy. However, his opponent's going to make it over there. Ghostwalk is forced out by nosfa, as he is now going to be in a great position to have both of these major items. And there's a good opening here for nosfa.
Yes, indeed, but that railgun, though, that is going to burn off pretty much all the stack he just connected. LG looking solid, though. DaHanG taking a stand, but lingering around just a moment too long, as nosfa finally getting his first frag, gets the Mega as well, and now he's using that famous slash speed to get himself the next item and preferably cut off DaHanG's access to the railgun as well. DaHanG right now doesn't have a single of the main weapons. Wheat finally secures the rockets, but doesn't have a rail, doesn't have an LG. Beautiful shot as well right there.
That was amazing, going up the back stairwell, still managing to just sneak one out. A direct rocket from down below. DaHanG is going to be forced out of there with the Ghostwalk. I think that was still a smart decision. Take the damage and get out of there. Now 7 seconds until heavy, and look at this. Oh, nosfa with the great call, making his way in down below, sees DaHanG's there, easy kill with the rocket. We're tied up 2-2.
nosfa definitely with a stack advantage as well, and DaHanG doesn't have his ability to ghost walk up for another 5 seconds, does secure himself one of the hourglasses, so he gets the ability up a little sooner, and that allows him to get away. But can he hang on for dear life? nosfa switches to the heavy machine gun. Clever choice, doesn't want to risk missing the rail shot. Not entirely prepared for DaHanG spawning right there. nosfa now not in the greatest of positions. By positioning himself right there, he's giving up the heavy. Does land a nice rail shot though, so he's gonna burn off a lot of that stack gained.
Yeah, and let's see how DaHanG is going to be able to get back in here. The door is open. It is ajar, but not with that one frag lead. He's got a little bit of room to maneuver and make mistakes. Going up that jump pad, firing a rail. Ghost block to go in, going to be used aggressively here. Going to force the nosfa down to the bottom level, and now dodging the rockets from DaHanG from the top of the columns. DaHanG's going to make his way over to the heavy, and he will now try to take both of these major items away. nosfa from the bridge, firing down. Tribal, DaHanG just having no problem poking away here with that heavy, and will go ahead and finally back off. But with the timing of the Mega, not going to be able to get there in time. That's going to go back. Oh, wait. Actually, maybe. I thought nosfa was in position to do it. Rocket and Rail combo. Still going to go ahead and get out of there, but nosfa's stack is done.
That aggressive... Oh! nosfa completely missing DaHanG, flying over his head. He thought that DaHanG was maybe up at the bridge over at Railgun, and he just flew right on by. And that allowed the American player to get another frag. Now, what I was about to say is that that aggressive ghost walk that DaHanG used is actually a lot of information for nosfa, because it tells him that DaHanG is feeling confident in his ability, and that he isn't just going to cling on to that ability, using it as a get-out-of-jail-free card, but wants to apply pressure wherever possible. That might change nosfa's playstyle a bit, because he has to be prepared for that sudden burst of invisible aggression.
Ooh, the race to the heavy, and it's picked up by nosfa. Ghostwalk is going to be popped out. Oh, he's going to come right out, and nosfa's looking for him. The rail is shot, but it misses, and the heavy machine gun damage puts DaHanG back in the lead 4-3. A nice little exchange there. Oh my gosh, and a follow-up frag at the top of the columns here. Amazing. DaHanG takes the lead by 2 frags.
This is looking a little bit risky for nosfa now. Luckily for him, though, still 4 minutes left in this map. Plenty of time to make the comeback happen, but you never want to be trailing when you're up against the Nyx, because that Ghost Hawk is such a powerful evasive and defensive tool. Good rocket as well. DaHanG absolutely doesn't have to go on the defensive just yet. After dealing that amount of damage, he's not even going to go for Mega right away. We'll delay it a bit later, just so that he can push out a bit more damage on nosfa. And that again shows that confidence. He doesn't just want to win this by 2 points. He's going to continue punching, and this should get him yet another frag as the situation becomes ever more dire for nosfa.
I really, really like the attack route that DaHanG took for that one. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of ways to go. I was kind of expecting him to go from the top, but going from that middle level, surprising his opponent there just briefly with the LG, get that initial damage off, and with the stack he had no problem. And a beautiful rail to follow up on that one as he's falling away as well, making it 7-3. And really, Flea, both of these players have been showing incredible skill with the rail. We're looking at 40% on nosfa's side and 45 on DaHanG's side. There is another frag from DaHanG, and you mentioned earlier, right, that we were seeing that confidence come out from DaHanG, and I think that it is very evident right now in what we're seeing in these last few moments of map 1.
I mean, I think this is something that a lot of people were expecting, right? Something that both of the Liquid boys, DaHanG and Rafa, are very well known for, is that they play for the end game, right? It takes them a while to get into things sometimes, but when they do, they often manifest such powerful control towards the end of the game that they can easily just capitalize off their momentum and build a significant lead. So at the beginning, we saw that it was really close, with nosfa even taking the lead for a while, but as things progressed, DaHanG just locked down pretty much all of the items, has significantly more major pickups than his opponent right now, and that allowed him to just get a few frags on the board because he keeps landing these beautiful rails.
I mean, nosfa's definitely hitting some very nice shots too. Unfortunately, not able to kind of clench the frag on some of the... There it is! Finally, on the lower levels, about ready to pick up that light. DaHanG goes down. nosfa, 4 frags in 90 seconds here on Blood Covenant. I don't know about that one, but he's going to give it his best college try. Ghostwalk is popped on that one, so he knows he's at least got a few moments here where he can assault DaHanG and see if he can force him into a fight. But DaHanG is playing this one the way that you'd expect him to. In the final moment, he's got the lead. He's got some room to work with. He can even give up a frag or two, and it may not matter. Down to 49 points of health, and even there, getting some damage on the defensive, still able to walk away from that one.
Yep, and with 45 seconds left on the clock against the Nyx, I think this is pretty much over, but that isn't going to stop nosfa from trying, but the combo DaHanG, he's widely considered to be one of the best timers in the game, keeping perfect track of when the majors are going to respawn. And again, that helped him out tremendously, because if he hadn't picked up Mega the moment it appeared, that would have been an easy frag for the Brazilian player. But still, time to perfection allows him to extend that lead ever further, but it's already done and dusted at this point. DaHanG will be taking home map 1.
Completely agree. There is a little bit of CZM inside of DaHanG. You know, CZM was notably known for timing every single item on the map at any given time, and I see that in DaHanG all the time. A very, very decisive victory in map number 1 for DaHanG. Pretty equal on the rail shots, 43, 42% across the board for both players. But you know, ultimately, I think that the sort of the play of the game for me is when DaHanG went over to that heavy and just really kind of confused nosfa, came at him from the middle level. nosfa was looking up, just kind of expecting him to come from the rail bridge. Didn't happen, and at that point, I just felt like it. You know, he kind of threw nosfa a little out of whack there. So map 2 is going to be coming up next. But, you know, based off of what we saw there, do you expect DaHanG to take that momentum just pretty easily into map 1 or 2?
I mean, I would still give this one towards DaHanG based on what we just saw. I think that one of the things that nosfa has been lacking the most definitely hasn't been his combat skill, because as you mentioned, those were pretty closely tied. But it's just the general strategy and decision making. nosfa isn't really getting that good of a read on DaHanG, and sometimes completely loses track of his position and then takes an angle or makes a move for a certain item and gets completely caught off guard. And DaHanG, one of his patented, trademarked responses right there that we all love so much, whereas nosfa plays it a little cooler. But yeah, I do think that nosfa, he's going to have to change things up, and he is really going to have to double down on that longer-term strategy and the reads on DaHanG, which, on the other hand, might be a little bit easier on a smaller map like Deep Embrace, Wheat.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, I love Deep Embraced. I think it's quite enjoyable to watch. I don't know if the players always or share that same sentiment that I have. But hey, players, we love Deep Embrace. It is a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of different styles. There's still a lot of strategies that come out. You know, the ones I think we've seen Keel on Deep Embrace, and I remember the first couple times that it was picked, it was like, I'm not quite sure on this one. But with the strategy of sort of controlling that middle upper area and being able to have sight on all of the different sections of the map, I've started to warm up to the Keel pick a little bit, right? Really using grenades to zone your opponent, keep them in one area, denying major items. But, you know, I'm always a fan of a Stragan Peeker pick, too, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. Expect another high-fragging game, though.
Yep, absolutely. And as we're loading this one up, I also just want to quickly note that on the B stream, it has actually been Maxter taking home map 1. So he is on match point going up against the Swede Sparty. But on the A stream, though, right over here, we are going to continue with DaHanG versus nosfa. This is the second map if you're just joining us. DaHanG won the first one, and that means that he only needs one more victory, whether it be on Deep Embrace or the final map, to secure himself the win and move on through the brackets.
Flea, as we're getting ready to enter this matchup, is there any one player that has really stood out to you on Deep Embrace, where you're like, that this player, I think this is their map?
I mean, I feel like one of the players who's been performing very well on Deep Embrace is DaHanG. And he is so good at maps that are like this, you know?
Yeah.
Very often people consider Awoken to be DaHanG's best map, and this is a very similar map, not just in graphical attributes, but just in playstyle as well. So I think that DaHanG definitely is one of the best players in the world on this new map.
Well, here we are, map 2. No DaHanG this map, but we'll see how DaHanG and nosfa perform on there. We're going to kick things off from the viewpoint of DaHanG. And already a couple of nice rails coming out by nosfa. We're going to have DaHanG just, again, chilling in that center area. Things going down a little bit. Shotgun from around the side. Pineapple comes out, but it won't matter. nosfa firing a rocket into the air and getting that first frag against DaHanG. Puts himself on the board in the first 30 seconds.
Indeed, very good start from nosfa, and I do think that the Peeker can work very nicely on this particular map. Oh, he almost gave away a free frag right there. nosfa still had a bit of momentum when he pulled the Peeker, and then he just kind of slid down below the ledge.
Yeah.
And DaHanG actually landed a few shots on him, but risky business indeed. Now DaHanG though, look at that massive stack that comes with playing one of the bigger champions. Even though nosfa got the first frag, those rails are hurting. Can he get out still? Oh, nice little shot. nosfa knew that he was done for, and I don't think he even wanted to run away. He just wanted to do damage. And now off the respawn, DaHanG, the LG, murderously strong. And right back into the lead.
I mean, really just goes to show what one rail can do on this map. And we do see nosfa snagging one rail on his way down there. The score is now 3-1. And, you know, stacked in favor of DaHanG right now. Rightfully so. He's picked up the last couple of frags. But we're already seeing quite a bit of action here early on in this matchup. And we're only almost a minute and 43 in. Mega is going to be up and picked up by DaHanG. Not really committing to that top middle area, but you know, he has kind of the map control, can do what he wants to do. Peeker does come out, but DaHanG just shrugged it off. Pineapple still being thrown around as well. He drops down, rocket through the murder hole. It is the direct rocket. Gonna try to follow up with the rail. Cannot find it through the teleporter. Will meet him nosfa up at the top. And I just kind of like kind of how DaHanG is controlling the map right now.
DaHanG is playing this in an extremely intelligent way. As you said yourself, he's not sticking to the center area of the map. Why? Because he knows that sticking to the outskirts is where he will be able to use his kill ability more effectively. And then he just waits until one of the major items spawns, secures it, and then he pushes out in the middle with a tremendous stack, knowing very well that nosfa can't really challenge that. Good rockets of the spawn as well. nosfa manages to secure a railgun, but doesn't have much more to work with just yet, so DaHanG knows that. Medium distance fight where he can use the LG should really be helping out for him, but the rails? One more. nosfa somehow! That was a beautiful shot on the drop down. He's still in this, Sweet.
Yeah, and off of the spawn too, DaHanG, knowing that the heavy was up, immediately was able to grab that. However, wow, DaHanG with the rail and shotgun combo. He's only out of control for a few mere moments there, Flea, as he picked it back up, makes it 5-2. You know, I don't know if there's something that nosfa could have done a little bit differently there. He did hit the shot that he needed to hit. But it was going to be a while till the heavy was up, and it is up now. DaHanG's going to make his way over and go for that. Where is nosfa just waiting down below with the rail? Now, Peeker hasn't really done a whole lot this game, but the pineapples, the grenades from Keel have... Oh, no! Oh, no. You hate to see it, Flea.
Oh god, I was on his point of view as well. He just slid off the map ever so slowly, going backwards towards Mega. That is disastrous, Wheat. That is so rough. And if we just look at what you said, the control, as DaHanG should clean up another frag here. We are 4 minutes in. DaHanG has picked up 14 major items. nosfa has 2. DaHanG even has more small armors than nosfa, which is something that should never happen. The player out of control typically picks up more of the small armors because he knows that his opponent can't do the same. But this time it's even DaHanG securing more of the small armors, which just shows how positionally gifted he is.
Wow, you're absolutely right, and some great grenades coming out here. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier when I said at first I wasn't super convinced about Keel on this map, but you know, I'm happy to be proven wrong. And we've seen this. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. We've seen DaHanG do exactly this, and a few others as well. But I think this is a sort of textbook example of how you can really dominate with this champion on Deep Embrace. I mean, obviously your fundamentals all need to come together. It's not just like I have grenades so I win, but there's some great control here. And now that type of rail is exactly every single time that we've seen nosfa grab control, it's been done that way. Surprise his opponent, you know, chipping him down and ultimately landing that kill rail. Unfortunately, even 5 minutes left to go, DaHanG just looks so powerful in terms of control of this map, and we've yet to really see nosfa take the charge.
Good rocket, though. That's going to send DaHanG flying. nosfa should be able to secure heavy and get himself a frag as well. This could very well be the turnaround. This could be the point at which it changes for nosfa. For the first time this game, he looks like he's somewhat comfortable. Should be able to secure Mega as well. DaHanG misses the shot, though. Oh, and he gets knocked off the map. That one missed rail, that's gonna haunt him.
Few moments. I just died inside a little bit right there. 9-2. nosfa with the second suicide of the game. Unfortunately, there. Speaker's gonna come out, try to do some damage. Takes a U-turn. Won't happen. Well, it connects just a little bit. Doesn't get the kill, but a great rail to follow up. And you know, you mentioned, is it possible for a turnaround? 100%, absolutely. It needs to happen right here. But look at this DaHanG every single time, using those grenades very, very wisely, landing a last-second rail. He's going to make his score 10-3 now. 7 frag lead. There's the follow-up rail, but is it enough?
That's exactly what you said, right? nosfa getting back into this is 100% dependent on his rail. He has done 1.8k damage with railgun alone, compared to 300 with rockets and 700 with LG. Railgun is by far his weapon of choice, and he is relying on it so much. This is how he's getting his frags, this is how he's doing his damage, and he needs that consistency. And even though he's sitting at 64% railgun accuracy, he needs to do more, because time is running out.
Well, in the final moments, this is what he needs to start with: a decent stack. Almost immediately deleted by those grenades and by those pineapples, and that has to be frustrating for nosfa. He's either running into a pineapple or he's getting hit in the back with the rail. There's a shotgun blast from DaHanG, sends nosfa's body down below yet again, and a 7 frag lead. I would say a very, very strong victory potential here for DaHanG. If he was looking to make a statement here in the round of 24, Flea, I think this is a pretty strong statement. You mentioned that he probably paid very close attention to that matchup, knowing he was either going to be facing nosfa or Aavik, and in this was probably completely prepared for nosfa. Great job by nosfa. Finally, on the chase down, does get his 5th frag, but with less than 2 minutes left to go, this one is most certainly going to be handed to DaHanG.
The peeker just really didn't work out this map. He just... How much benefit did he get from the little peeker? Did he even do damage with it at all? We saw numerous occasions where he would just use the peeker at a long distance and then just fly around aimlessly just to crash himself into a wall because he knew that the risk was too great for DaHanG doing damage. So he ultimately gained almost nothing with his active ability, whereas DaHanG just pummeled nosfa with the grenades. We saw so much damage. I wish we could see a separate counter for the grenades alone, but he really hurt the Brazilian with that weapon.
Oh, I guarantee you that the difference is just astronomical, right? I think I saw maybe a couple of pew shots, right? 30, 45, I don't know, less than 100 damage, I would guess. Did have the one somewhat direct, but these grenades have just been the bane of nosfa, right? Like everywhere he's running, the moment that he's got a big stack, he's getting hit. There's one right there, right on the noggin, followed up with a rail. As many other times that has happened, there's just so many ways that you could use them with, with intelligent utility on this map, and you're seeing it based off of the score right here, 16-5. I think it would have others really reconsidering their champion picks on this, or maybe even flat out a ban. I don't know, but DaHanG showed just how powerful Keel can be here on Deep Embrace. And unfortunately, Deep Embrace itself was another enemy on the map for nosfa. Those 2 suicides, one into the pit, another a rocket blast off of the side of the wall. But DaHanG takes that one in 2 maps to move on to the round of 16. Quite nicely done.
Somewhere, Sync Error is laughing. Adam is just going, God, the mode got him again with that suicide out of absolutely nowhere. But fortunately for nosfa, the story doesn't have to end right here. He is just dropping down to the lower brackets of the tournament, meaning that he absolutely still has a shot to make it far. And as I mentioned before we even started, we'd lost finals, the Quake World Championships. nosfa had a tremendous run in that lower bracket, only to lose once again to DaHanG in the very final game before finals day. But still, it just shows that this man has resilience and can absolutely still take it all the way.
Yep. Lethal over on the sidelines. Come on back. We want to hear what you thought about this game. What's up?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That second map was, I didn't expect such a huge scoreline. DaHanG made great use of kill, and Fleet made a very good point, in terms of the Strog, we didn't really see much use of the P-Kit. It barely did any damage or just used it at the wrong time. And with DaHanG, his adaptation is always very, very good, very strong. It's normally his aim, which is a little bit inconsistent, but we saw almost none of that. So DaHanG looks very, very strong heading into this weekend. If he plays like that, we could see him get a very, very good placement heading into the future matchups. But DaHanG was playing so well considering the adrenaline rush I'm sure nosfa had from that last game against Avec. And I just felt like nosfa, everything he did, he used the velocity well in terms of Strog, but in terms of using the P-Kit, didn't really see much of that at all. Just used it at the wrong times. Sometimes he used it even just for info. He couldn't even get that at that moment in time.
Yeah, and the face of frustration, nosfa keeps it himself composed. He still has life left in this tournament. Never be upset after a win versus Avec, but unfortunately does drop down. DaHanG, the America's #3 seed, will advance on to the round of 16. We are going to take a break. When we return, we'll check out those brackets again. We'll see how this is going to shape out for the rest of the day, as well as moving into day 2 and day 3. Thank you, Flea, for casting. Lethal for joining us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more QPL Stage 1 Finals. It's day 1. It's going to continue right here. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.